All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we have an iconic hip-hop legend right here live on the line, man. We got Funkmaster Wizard Wiz right here on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
Peace and blessings. I'm doing wonderful, DJ Immortal. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, you are most certainly welcome, man. Like I've been a fan of yours for a very long time, man. So again, thank you so much in advance for just providing not only myself, but the radio station listeners with a bit of your time this evening.
Wow, it's an honor, definitely.
But I know you're a busy guy, Funk, so I'm going to dive right into this interview, and I want to take you back, man, to the mid-'70s, where before you were even an MC, you actually became a breakdancer. I was wondering, what actually made you start breakdancing and, of course, transitioning into becoming a hip-hop MC?
Wow, good question. Actually, I was just dipping and dabbing with that because in my neighborhood, I was young at the time, and, a few cats on the block was experimenting with that. But then I had met this brother named Mongo Rock, a Latino brother who lived around the corner from me. We had gotten to a dance battle in the back of an abandoned building, and that brought us actually a brotherhood. We became brothers after that, and we started dancing together and going around meeting other crews like TDK and things like that, Joey and Kid, and all of the brothers that was coming up at that time in the b-boy crews and stuff.
And I gotta say, man, it definitely sounds like fun times. Like when you actually became an MC, did you ever still do the breakdancing like on the side, or did you just fully devote yourself to actually being an artist?
Actually, after b-boying for a while, I started to mature a little bit, and care about my dress code and my appearance. And I noticed that every time I got on the floor, I had to, I stuffed up my pants or my British walkers and stuff like that. So I had to, come up with another aspect of this hip hop thing that would, still put me in the limelight, put me a part of it. So I started exploring MC, and then I started going more out to the jams where the MCs was and the DJs, and pretty much that was where I was influenced to pick up the microphone and start writing. And no, I never pursued the b-boy career once I started writing lyrics and getting vocal on the microphone.
And also as well, in the early 1980s, you were actually a member of the group The Undefeated Three. I was wondering, what's the story behind that iconic group? And of course, how did you actually get connected with the other members?
Actually, I was partners with Tila Rock. Back in the days, we used to make mixtapes together with DJ Space. And, we used to, every now and then get together, collaborate on some things on the mixtapes and stuff. And he came to me one day and was telling me about a group, the Undefeated Three, that he had. It was him and a female by the name of Vicious T, I believe. And he asked me would I want to be the third member. So I said, of course, let's do it. But unfortunately, we never moved forward with the project. So I ended up taking a name, and I met two other brothers. First, it was Joe McDonald, a.k.a. Supreme, Cool Supreme. He got down with me, and then a few months later, we met a brother by the name of Gerald Stevens. We call him a.k.a. Easy G. And from then on, we took the name Undefeated Three, and we went and got a deal with it, with Unity, with Paxton Records. My first single, that was back in '82, was titled Unity Rap, with featuring the Undefeated Three and DJ Magic Ray.
And I have to ask as well, like, when you guys first started that group, why didn't you guys put anything out? Like, was there, like, just differences between you guys before you guys, before the Apex and Records? Or, like, what was really going on? Why you guys didn't release anything?
I think then Tila Rock's career was going in a different direction. I believe then he was, looking more toward being a solo artist. And I believe that's when he started branching out, doing his own individual thing like that. And so, I just, took the name and continued to, utilize it. And that's pretty much what happened. We always know, we never had no differences, nothing like that, or anything to cause us to go any different ways. He just, I believe, just started, going in the direction of his solo career. So I just held on to the name.
And also as well, another record label you were signed to as well that you're actually known for as well is actually Tough City Records, man. I was wondering, how did that record deal come to be for you? And of course, like, what was it like working under that imprint all those years ago?
Wow. Actually, my DJ at the time was a brother by the introduced me to Aaron Fuchs over the phone, I believe. And Aaron Fuchs sent me a track and asked me could I write to it. He told me that he had given it to a group by the name of the Super 3, and 3 months had passed and they hadn't written to it. So what I did was I wrote the song overnight, called him the next day. He couldn't believe it. Set up an appointment 2 or 3 days after that. When he heard the work that I did on the track, he loved it, and he offered me a deal. And so, you know, he signed all 3 of us under 53.
And I gotta ask as well, like, cause like I heard that like when you were signed to that label, man, that they didn't utilize you guys properly, which I personally think that that they most definitely should have gave you guys a lot more limelight, man, because you guys were phenomenal MCs on that label. You really could have took them to a whole nother level.
Well, excuse me. In those days, we were all young, including Aaron Fuchs in the game, and we didn't know the business, and Aaron Fuchs was just coming out of journalism and being a journalist now to becoming a record company owner and CEO of a company, and he was new in the game himself, and so it was a lot of learning going on. We was all young, growing up and experiencing something new, and just basically living in a fantasy because. It was everything that we thought it was. It really wasn't. And it wasn't just the company. It was just the industry overall, the politics in it and the under-the-hand table dealings that was going on and things of that nature. And so, it was a learning experience. It was, it was what it was. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity. I'm grateful for Aaron Fuchs giving us the opportunity to recognize our talent and giving us a shot and, let me have my freedom to create my music and freely speak what I felt. And he had the confidence and the courage to, allow me to, do some wild and crazy things, which he thought was genius. But unfortunately, the industry, have their rules and regulations. And so, that caused a lot of controversy for the company back in those days. So they had to, we was banned, to be actually honest with you. We did the Crack It Up song, and that kind of started a whole roller coaster of political controversy for my career.
And when we actually are on the topic of Crack It Up, man, one of my actually next questions was actually about that song, and that is actually one of your most well-known tracks, and unfortunately it was actually banned on Kiss FM, but I was wondering if you could tell us the story behind that banning, and of course, how does it feel to know that one of your most famous songs is a song that never received any radio play? Because back then, from what I heard back then, if you didn't have any radio play, like normally your music wouldn't go anywhere, but that song went big.
Yeah, it was. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the rules and regulations and how the game is played. I thought we was in a state of freedom of speech and creativity and self-expression. But I learned that you got to be careful what you say because it could be utilized against you. Even though that was just a form of my creativity, it was taken in a political form, and it was used against me. My civil rights was violated, and we had to actually go back inside of the studio and put a phrase in front of Crack It Up, which said, "You better not," just to hopefully think that would change the dynamics of the situation, but it didn't. They refused to allow us to pursue my career, and all the radio stations in New York was told not to play my music, and so that's how that went down. But Aaron Fuchs, made some moves and ended up taking me overseas, and which was something that overseas hadn't experienced at that time. Hip hop was new, and I was basically the first artist that was given a license, to travel overseas and be introduced hip hop all around the world.
And I have to ask, man, when you were actually overseas, like, what was the atmosphere like? Did they know when you went over there? Did they know your music right offhand? Did they know exactly who Funkmaster Wizard Wiz was?
Well, actually, I never went overseas. My music went, but I never went. So physically, I never went. But Aaron was doing business overseas with industries and corporations over there and introducing them to Funkmaster Wizard Wiz and hip hop United States. And pretty much that was something new to them because at that time rock and roll was big, and the only access we had to videos or anything was the channel we had back in the days called U68, which is now, I believe, MTV. You know, but back in those days, U68 was like the first video channel that was available to show videos, and they didn't have any hip hop videos at that time. It was basically rock and roll. And Aaron negotiated with them, and they I was their first in-house artist on U68. We actually shot a video there, and that was distributed worldwide, and that also contributed to the acknowledgement of Funkmaster Wizard's career and music.
And also, one of my favorite releases that you actually put out was a release titled Bellevue Patient, man. I was wondering, what is the story and inspiration behind that iconic record? And of course, how does it feel to know that that album is actually still making waves today within hip-hop?
Yeah. I'm going to keep it real with you. You know, when I was young, I was a wild and crazy guy. You know, I was very outspoken, very much just out there, loud, my dress code. You know, if you ever saw my album, I wore a crazy outfit that I had customized myself. And I was just, you know, I was just a free soul, free spirit. Felt I could say what I wanted, express myself, live freely, do my music. And that's the energy that I had back in those days, you know. And so, you know, I expressed it through my music. Some of the scenarios that I had went through growing up in life, some of the wild and crazy things that I did in life, you know, I just took them and put them into a lyrical form, and I packaged it up as the Bellevue Patient.
And I gotta say as well, my favorite song off that record will always be Fat Tim and I Stink 'Cause I'm Funky, man. Those two are my favorite joints.
Wow, thank you, DJ Moore. I appreciate that, brother. Definitely, thank you.
And I encourage everybody that hasn't actually heard that record, go back and actually listen to it, man, because it is a hip-hop masterpiece in my personal opinion.
I appreciate the love, brother. I do. Thank you, champ.
And also, going ahead in the timeline a little bit, in 2004, the Beastie Boys actually sampled your track, your self-titled track, Bellevue Patient, on their song, Hey Fuck You. I was wondering, did you actually know about that ordeal? And of course, like, were you satisfied with how they sampled your work when you actually first heard the To the Five Boroughs record?
I'm going to keep it real with you, DJ Immortal. That was a deal that I was not involved in, and I never got a check for that. So the way I look at it is like, I appreciate them for acknowledging me and using my form and you know, climbing to the top and them being successful in what they did. But I don't know what the dealing between them and Aaron was something that occurred under the table that I had no acknowledgement of, and that was kept from me. So that's kind of like a flip-floppy feeling that I have about that. You know, it was good to see that brothers, you know, felt that, hey, man, let's use some of funk on this hook, and I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, the way it was done, I had no acknowledgement of it. So it's, you know, it's an in and out situation on that specific topic.
And I gotta say, my apologies for bringing that up. I actually did not know that, but I do know the Beastie Boys are known for just sampling people's work without kind of getting the you know what I mean? I remember back in the day they actually sampled I think an old school rock group. It's on the top of my head right now, and I remember like they were worried about getting sued, but inevitably they didn't, so that was good.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. It's no problem. I mean, you know, any questions, brother, feel free to ask them, man. That's what we're here for. Clear up history.
But also as well, man, as we spoke on the phone earlier, you actually brought to my attention about how you actually want to battle Grandmaster Cass, man. And I was wondering, if Grandmaster Cass happens to come across this interview and listen, man, what do you want to say to Grandmaster Cass to make this happen? Because I think, you know, Funkmaster Wizard Wiz and Grandmaster Cass one-on-one, I can't even decide who would win that, man. It would be just a phenomenal battle.
Yeah, well, I you know, for a long time, you know, me and Cass been having this rivalry between us. You know, it's a hip-hop thing. It's no violent or nothing, you know, pertaining to any hostility or anything like that. It's just a lyrical thing. Like I said, I didn't say, but me and Cass go back way before the record industry. Actually, we lived on the same block on Preston Avenue. He lived on one side of the street, I lived on the other. And we always been competing with each other. You know, he's always been, like, for me, it's been no competition, really, to be honest with you. I've just been doing me. But, you know, for him, it's always like, wow, you know, Funkmaster Wiz is somebody that really, you know, that I be paying attention to. So, you know, it's always been a feeling like, you know, a little envy there and things like that. But moving right along, when you profess to be the grandest of them all, the nicest with a pen, you know, you have a book out called Written. You know, like, for me, hip-hop always been a competitive sport. For me, it's always been, you know, a competition thing. And, you know, we made the rules to this game. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see what you're made of. I don't believe you're the grandest of them all. I don't believe that at all. I would like you to show me that. And that's what I've been professing to him for the last 3 years, but he hasn't responded. I don't know if he's running, hiding, or avoiding the situation. Hip-hop hasn't been talking about it. It's like they more like become a little bit cliquish, and certain things that threaten their foundation, they don't want to advertise or speak on. So that whole situation, that invitation that I've given GMC to, you know, show me what he's got, has been something that they've been kind of keeping under the rug and things like that, and being hush-hush about, you know, so I understand. But this is one thing I want to say, see, from a fan's perspective, there's one perspective. Then you got a perspective that comes from the artist. Like you yourself, you're pretty much a fan of a lot of the brothers that you interview and speak with. Me, I'm not fans of these brothers. For me, they're competition. So you may have a different perspective of an individual who you interview and you know his music and his career from actually the artists who know these brothers individually and have a whole other perspective of the individual that you never get to see. And so pretty much, you know, I was just keeping hip-hop alive. It was getting kind of boring. You know, we was doing the Macklemore thing. And I said, hey, man, let's turn it up. You know what I'm saying? We going downtown. Let's bring it back uptown to hip-hop and get a hip-hop culture what they want and need, which they recently did at Madison Square Garden. You know, which I'm sure was inspired by your invitation to Grandmaster Caz. But that's what it was, man. This is hip-hop. It's competitive. And, you know, when you profess to be the greatest and the grandest, and I'm still alive, you know what I'm saying, then you're going to have to show me that. And that's pretty much my principle on that.
And I gotta say as well, I think that this time is probably the best time to do that versus, man, because we're like, hip hop is kind of in like a versus battle era, man. Like since the pandemic hit, you know, you've had like Snoop Dogg and going at it and whatnot with DMX, and you had like the Locks versus Dipset. You know, you really have all these versus battles. So I think this is a better time than ever to actually do it, man, because everybody wants versus battles.
Yeah, but check this out. This is what I'm trying to put you up on, DJ Immortal. Before all of this versus battles and the stuff and the individuals that you just named, nobody was doing that. Nobody was talking about battling crew, individual artists. Nobody thought of that until 2017 when I started calling out Grandmaster Caz and advertising Funkmaster Wiz versus Grandmaster Caz. And then that idea leaked out to, you know, these brothers, and so these new concepts and these new platforms was created just from the me just calling out Grandmaster Caz for the last 3 years.
And I gotta say, hopefully it happens, man, because I think all the hip hop fans would definitely enjoy that.
Surely, I hope so too. But you know, Caz has been offered lots of money several times. Sponsors have come forward, offered him large sums of money. Actors, basketball players, you know, everybody has already been knocking on his door saying, "Hey, man, we believe in you. We want to put this money up. We want to see this happen." But you know, he declines every time. So that's where we stand. You know, if Caz ever, you know, felt like he was ready to give the hip hop culture what he's entitled to do, it's his obligation. You know, we are the founding fathers and the pioneers, and we made the rules to the game. You know, you can't make the rules to the game and then break your own rules. You know, hip hop is competitive, whether it's DJing, breakdancing, whether it's graffiti, or whether it's being lyrical on the mic. It's all a competitive thing. And so, you know, I'm just waiting to see, you know,
And also as well, man, on September 1st of 2018, you actually released one of your most recent projects titled Explicit. I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a bit more about this record, and of course, is it actually available out there to be streamed or purchased today?
Yes, I have four. I released in 2017. I released 2018, 2019, and 2020. I released 4 albums. I released 4 albums in the last 4 years. I wanted to do something different. You know, I didn't want to wait years to release album. I didn't want to release singles because I have an abundance of work. So I wanted to break history and do something that nobody's ever done and just put an album out every year. And so for the last 4 years, I've been putting out albums. My first one was Twisted in 2017. In 2018, I put out Explicit. In 2019, I put out No Artificial Flavors. And in 2020, I put out 2020 Endgame. And yes, you can get this material. It's available on any CD distribution platform. It's on so many of them. I don't have the names of them, but any of them, Tied to Down, CD Baby, all of them. They have the product up there on Apple Music, iTunes Music, on all the major streaming platforms. You can find the work. Let me just put it in a nutshell like that for you.
And I gotta say as well, your most recent work is phenomenal, man. You know what I mean? So I want to encourage everybody to go out there and snag these records up, man, because you're not gonna find hip hop like this, man. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. You know, I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. For some people, for me, hip hop is a tool. You know, it was utilized. It's supposed to be utilized as a tool. But some people, for them, hip hop is just a hobby. For me, it's a way of life. You know, I don't play with it. I've never put the pen down. This is what I do. I have a passion. It's in my blood, and I don't play around with this. You get what I'm saying? It's been like I said. It's something that I live by. I love it. I love the culture. I love writing. I love creating, expressing my feelings, and talking about different topics through poetry and music. This is what I do. So I don't shuck and jive around with this. This is in my blood. This is what I do. Absolutely.
But also as well, aside from actually being an MC, you are actually the owner and host of your own radio show, titled FMW Live. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners a bit more about your show, and of course, when and where can we actually tune in?
Surely. Actually, I was affiliated with Blog Talk Radio for over 6 years. I held down my show over there on Blog Talk Radio for 6 years. And the topics that I was discussing were stemming beyond hip-hop, just the political situation, the historical things, things that were just empowering humanity, information that was just being kept from the public, just things that we who don't read and research anything, just information that we don't know and needed to know. So I became very outspoken in a lot of things and a lot of policies and agendas that we were heading into. And so Blog Talk Radio was bought out. Somebody actually bought it out. And because several times they tried to, shut me down on it. So I guess they went to the extreme and bought the company. And once they bought the company, then they had access to not allow me any services. So that's what happened. They bought the company out. I got shut off for that. And then I went to Facebook. And so far I've done, I believe, maybe 16, 17 shows on Facebook Live. And that jumps on Monday night from 8 to 10 p.m. FMW Live on Facebook. Monday nights from 8 to 10 p.m.
And I gotta say as well, I actually tapped into a few of your broadcasts, man, and I gotta say, you speak real facts during these shows, man. And I gotta tell people, if you want to hear the truth behind a lot of things, man, make sure you tap into this radio show, because it is absolutely phenomenal.
Wow, I didn't even know you took a moment to do that, brother. I know you're busy, man. I know you was putting this show together, but I had no idea you had the time to even check that out. I appreciate that.
Hey man, I always try and engage with everybody I have on Facebook. Sometimes it's hard because I get busy, but I always try and show everybody love and share some stuff and whatnot. Because at the end of the day, man, teamwork makes the dream work, as the old saying goes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm having a great time. Just being, I'm just privileged by the Most High, brother. That's what it is, and I feel it's an obligation. We live in critical times right now. Our Constitution is being tampered with. Our freedoms of speech and our freedoms of thinking is being, kind of censored there. And, things are being mandated that we don't want to be mandated. And, it just seems like we're just going in a whole new direction. It seems like a whole new agenda is manifesting. And it's very important that we wake up. And, we got platforms because everything's being censored right now. And people who have information, they're being shut down. Information is not being available anymore to the public. And so I'm grateful to have 120 minutes on Monday nights to share and receive information. I appreciate Mr. Zuckerberg for allowing me this platform and not censoring my words and allowing me and the opportunity to just, speak the truth to the people, because we don't have too many platforms available like that where we can get this kind of important and relevant information. So I'm grateful to Facebook and Zuckerberg for the opportunity. And I'm just going to keep doing what I got to do. All praise is due to the Creator for privileging me the opportunity to have a platform and to be able to share and receive information with the world. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm going to keep doing what I do, DJ Moto, on that note.
But I gotta ask you there, Funkmaster. Well, what is next for you? Because obviously, you're doing your show every week and whatnot. But do you have any new projects? Anything we happen to miss that you still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still have you here live on the Canadian airwaves this evening.
Yeah, well, I'm involved in a couple of things. I have like my wife also is a phenomenal vocalist. She has an album out titled Life Lessons. Her name is Shahada Lockett. And she's also on all the major streaming paths, so people can check her work out as well. She's phenomenal. She's also working on her second album right now, doing her thing with that. And my son is the Four Horsemen. They also have a up-and-coming album that we just finalizing and finishing up right now. So I look forward to dropping that in the hip-hop world. Every now and then on my show, I play some of their works, keep the fans aware of, the progress we make. So I speak a little surprising there for them and let them hear some of the progress that we make and stuff like that. But it's just some things as far as like the political arena, the Congress, the councilman. I'm looking more into that area, because I think that would be a great contribution to. I'm in Atlanta right now. I think that would be a great contribution to the system and just different opinions and different outlooks to improve the conditions that we live in and out here in our community. So I'm looking forward to putting my foot somewhere in that arena and see what type of progress I can make there.
But also, Funk, this is the time in the interview, man, that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves, just like a chance to give, like, shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, but most of all, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything Funkmaster Wizard Wiz, if they're not already doing so.
Right. Okay, beautiful. For individuals who want to stay updated with me or become my friend, I'm at funkmasterwiz.com. It's my webpage. It's presently under construction. I got a few things I want to add to that, but you can get at me at Funkmasterwiz is King. I'm at Gmail. Funkmasterwiz is King, and that's my Gmail address. I'm on Facebook, Funkmasterwiz, Facebook. You can come connect with me there. Reach out and put in a friend request so you can tune into my shows on Monday night. I'm on Instagram as well, Funkmasterwiz on /Instagram, Funkmasterwiz /Twitter. I'm on all the major platforms. And all you got to do is come request to be affiliated with me, a friend request. I definitely accept it. If you're about something, I don't just accept anything. I just want to make sure that I have good people that's really concerned about what I'm concerned about, and not just people trying to just sabotage the situation. So yeah, you can reach out to me. I love to build relationships and bridges with people. That's what I'm here to do, and give my contribution to the culture and to the world and to humanity.
man, I gotta say first and foremost, Funkmaster, thank you so much for just giving us a little bit of your time this evening, man. You know, like I was telling you when we spoke on the phone earlier today, when we were just kind of choreographing this interview, man, and I was telling you how I grew up on your music, man. Your music definitely made a positive impact on my life, and most definitely millions all over the world, man. So thank you for just creating amazing music that we all enjoyed for so many years and so many different generations.
Man, I'm privileged, DJ Moore. I'm grateful to have met you and that you've taken the time to reach out to me and allow me to speak my piece on your platform. So I thank you for that, taking the time out and learning about my career and enjoying my music. And I definitely going to support you. I got your radio station in mind over here locked down, and I'm going to be tuning in, supporting you as well. You got my number, I got yours. We're going to continue to build on our brotherhood. Anything that I can do, brother, to assist you in this culture and the improvement, the empowerment of humanity. Brother, man, reach out, man. Let's build, man. Let's stay strong, man. You have.
Hey, most definitely. The same goes for you, man. Anything you need as well, don't hesitate to reach out, man. My number is always available, and my DM is always open.
Man, peace and blessings to you and your family, to all my listeners. I hope and pray that I said something that was good for you, that will empower you and uplift you and give you a better perspective on who I am, the culture, what I stand for. And I pray that I said something good tonight. And with that, I'm going to say this. Want for your brother what you want for yourself. And for me, I want God is beneath which rivers flow. So I want that for all the people who are deserving of that, man. And with that being said, keep me in your prayers. I'm going to keep you in mind. Peace and blessings, DJ Immortal. Salute to you. Continued success. I'm out.
Most definitely, man. Have yourself a wonderful night. Thank you.
Peace and blessings.